Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and welcome to This Week in WoW for the week of August 27th. The War Within is fully here and fully in swing for anybody who got the game, regardless of which one you purchased. And if you're still thinking about buying it, we'll talk a little bit about my experience leveling up in the War Within as well in this video. But before we get started, let's first give special thanks to Patreon supporters Mario Casillas and Rep Pally Rocks. Thank you guys so much for the support. Appreciate it very, very much. And now let's go ahead and talk about what's going on in the game this week. So, not a ton of stuff going to be on the actual weekly calendar, but there's still a lot to talk about. There's a PvP brawl set to come out. I assume that means you can do it and earn honor that way. And I'm not sure if the honor gear is open yet. That's something I didn't really check because I don't PvP that much. I know you could have it like crafted honor gear. I'm not sure if the honor vendor is open yet, but if it is, that would be one way to do it. There's not much else going on. But then as we get towards the end of the week and into September, we actually have the Darkmoon Fair coming. So why is this? We always talk about the Darkmoon Fair on this channel. Darkmoon Fair has mounts, pets, prizes. It's actually really good evergreen content that I hope they update. However, it's more pertinent than ever at the beginning of an expansion. Because I'm assuming, at least, I think I did go check this on beta, but I'm not going to say it with 100% certainty, but I'm pretty sure you can still go to the Darkmoon Fair and earn knowledge points for your professions. So if you didn't play in Dragonflight, let's say, and you don't know what that is, when you go in specializations, you can choose, different specializations for your professions. And you can spend knowledge points to be better at certain things than others, and eventually you fill out everything, right? You're just good at everything. So early on in expansion, knowledge points are a bit at a premium. So in Dragonflight, and I believe in the War Within, you can actually go to the Darkmoon Fair and go do those for your profession. Whatever profession that you have learned, those quests will be there for you in the Darkmoon Fair. If this is 100% confirmed, I will just do a video on it on Sunday when it comes. I'll do a video on it reminding people to go to the Darkmoon Fair. But this is something that's very pertinent. Profession knowledge is very important. If you're doing your professions at all, especially early on, it's good to be able to, either do it to make gold, do it for make stuff for yourself, for your guild, for your friends, whatever, right? So it can be very, very important. So there's not a ton else going on in the game. What we have to do at level 80, let's just talk about that real quick. So once you do hit level 80, if you're early access, you already hit 80. If you're just getting into the game yesterday, or maybe you're just getting in today because you couldn't play last night or whatever. Once you hit 80, there's not a ton to do. There's very basic things for you to do in the game once you hit 80. You can obviously grind renown, you can grind honor, you can grind professions. Heroic dungeons are available. Heroic dungeons offer you a pretty medium level of gear to let you kind of go into the heroic week pretty strong. It wouldn't hurt to have we have tons of time, right? Heroic week isn't until September 10th. So it's basically just plenty of time if you want to farm heroics to get full heroic gear and be ready to go right into heroic week, right into mythic zeros. Which remember, mythic zeros are like mythic plus 10s or plus 9s or something like that of the old system. They scaled the difficulty differently, and heroics are kind of like mythic zeros. So just kind of remember that as well. But that's basically all there is to do. There's not a ton to do. You're basically doing all the setup. With that being said, let's talk about my experience leveling up real quick in this video. I won't do a whole 20-minute spiel on it. But let's talk about my experience leveling up real quick, and how I feel about this expansion, because it's actually very good. And maybe I'll do a review about just my leveling experience. But yeah. So basically, I haven't wanted to do like a ton of videos or anything. I did a ret guide for preseason just because that's evergreen and I wasn't giving spoilers. I'm not a huge fan of the early access. I've mentioned that multiple times previously. I didn't get the $90 one for the early access. In all honesty, I did it for the beta to guarantee to get into the beta because that's important for me. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of it, so I didn't really feel like doing any videos or anything because it's just like spoilers everywhere, and how do I do a video without spoilers? And so yeah, I didn't really focus on doing that. So anyways, my actual level experience was great. Number one thing, if you're like me and a lot of gamers these days and you don't play with your game sound on, or you have it turned way down, I highly advise you to play with it on. The music the pacing of the music with what you're doing, the cutscenes, all of it is pretty extraordinary. Um, I've said this multiple times, and obviously they didn't have as many cutscenes back in the day, right? So the cutscenes, the cutscene placement, and everything like that, we haven't seen anything even close to that since Warlords of Draenor, I would say, with all the the beginning opening scene of Warlords of Draenor. And this might be better than that. Obviously, technology has advanced, but it's very, very good. And honestly, I hadn't the pacing of the opening quests and stuff like that, like it's just so good. Like it might be the best expansion in that very specific niche ever, because the old expansions that were pretty good, they didn't quite have this feel of the opening act, to me at least. Legion had a pretty decent opening act, but yeah, like the old ones, the older expansions, it kind of crescendo towards the end, like as you got to max level. This is like a big cool thing at the beginning, and it was really neat. It hooked me in right away. The campaign quests, if you just do the campaign quests, they're not going to quite level you up, so you would need to do some other stuff too, whether that's some delve quests with the delves, whatever you choose to do. But however, the campaign stuff is extremely good. That being said, some of the side quests are extremely good too. I would say at least in every zone, there's an absolute top-notch side quest. I will say in the Ringing Deeps, some of the side quests are not as good. They still have probably one or two in the Ringing Deeps that are absolutely extraordinary. But they do have some not so good ones in the Ringing Deeps. That's going to be the second zone you go to. And in Hollowfall, like almost everything's good in there. Hollowfall is just an amazing zone. Top notch. All the art's great. Everything's great. I mean, they really did well in this expansion. In fact, what I've been thinking in my head is I haven't enjoyed an expansion this much since Burning Crusade. Now, I'm not counting vanilla because I enjoyed vanilla. It's my first time playing, right? It was amazing and awesome. I'll probably never hold anything up to that when it comes to an MMO or World of Warcraft or whatever. Nothing's going to beat that because it was so cool. But as far as expansions go, my first expansion was Burning Crusade, so there's nostalgia there as well. But I haven't had this much fun in an expansion since then. I literally have done everything in the game. But not everything in the game. Okay, that's not true. I've done every single quest available, every single side quest, every single thing. I almost have every single treasure done. Some of those I didn't want to do because I didn't really care that much. But like it's so good. And like there's a treasure in Hollowfall that, first of all, the reward of it's pretty cool as well. I can actually probably show that. It's not a big spoiler or anything. Let me go to Toy Box. Let's see if I can find it. Or this is it right here. So it's actually really cool in my opinion. It like puts down a chair and it like makes you look like you're reading. I actually really like this toy a lot. I can like use this I think you might, I don't know if you can use it inside or not, but if you could use this while your raid leader's explaining stuff or something. It probably won't let you use it in a raid, but if it did, that would be really, really cool. And so it's just a cool little toy, but how you get that toy is a very cool thing. It's like, it's all it is a treasure, but it's basically like a 5 or 6 part quest line, but without it being a quest. You just have to go do it, right? And it's very, very cool. So the expansion has been great. I could talk glowingly about it for a long, long time, and maybe I will in a separate video. But I hope everybody has fun. Like I said, the reason I haven't been doing very much content in the early access is mostly because of spoilers. I don't want to talk about spoilers. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of early access. And hopefully I can start pumping out some content now that everyone has access to the game, regardless of your financial situation or your principles or morals or whatever, whatever situation that you happen to be in. So that'll be it for this one, guys. As always, I do ask you to please subscribe to the channel. If you're already a subscriber, consider checking out the Patreon. And other than that, everybody, have a good one.